Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live, and right now we're looking at live pictures of a drone that took off from Italy and is hovering around in the Persian Gulf near the Iranian border. So here it is, VVPE 804. We took this out, and it says that it's U.S. Navy and it's used for intelligence, surveillance, and recognition. Here we are. So reconnaissance here is very important these days. They've been keeping an eye because they've said that they want to clear the Strait of Hormuz, which is around over here. And Trump said yesterday that they're trying to get one of these islands. I think it's, wait, I'll confirm you the island that they want to drop their special forces. So this is the drone or quadcopter, and you can see the route. It's just hovering around there. Let me take you back. It's came through Saudi Arab, over Cairo, and it came straight from here, Palermo. You see this? Okay, so this is what's going on in the skies over you. Now, let me just go through some headlines that we collected off for you guys as we look at the quadcopter. Check out the range these things have. He like almost crossed three continents. I mean, this is Europe, this is Africa, and then this is Asia. And here it is right now. Okay, I'm going through the comments. Walaikum salam. Okay, now let me just give you a rundown of the important news that happened yesterday and 24 hours ago. So the B 2 bombers have been called in the region around Iran. Iran and Bahrain had a back and forth. I'm looking at your comments as well. We'll go through the comments as well. Iran fired at Bahrain yesterday, and then a base in Saudi Arab, US base that was also targeted. They said that around five refueling jets, planes have been gutted. And then over the night, we've got news that around 20 to 25 blasts, missile blasts, were heard in Tel Aviv. And then the Trump said that if Iran doesn't clear the Strait of Hormuz, it will go. The U.S. will invade the Iranian oil fields, which is going to be a problem for Iran. And I think that has started. We're going to get an update on that too. Trump said that security ships would accompany oil cargo ships through the Strait of Hormuz, which has not been done yet. So the U.S. has confirmed that their refueling planes, which were missing first, and then debris of one was found. The U.S. has confirmed that around six people have been killed in that incident. And then we have some head money. The U.S. has put uh, $10 million on the person who will uh, inform the US government where the new Ayatollah is. He's going to be given $10 million. Also, he would be eligible for the US citizenship as well. And then the resistance, they also put some head money on people who would give them information on where any US soldier is around the region. And then there was this event of Al Quds in Tehran where all the big officials of the Iranian government were seen. Ali Larijani, Abbas Arakchi, everyone was there in the crowd while Pete Hegseth was saying that these guys are hiding. They've gone underground. So the oil market of Russia is going up, and because the US has allowed few countries to buy oil from uh, Russia, EU didn't like it and says that it's not a good idea of buying oil from Russia because that will fuel the war against Ukraine. It says that EU is still in talks with Tehran to get their oil supply back in order from the Strait of Hormuz. And the UK says that they're not talking to Iran directly. So these are some news that we spotted for you. Now let's go through some international news channels, what they're saying and what they're doing. So this is the BBC. I'm gonna
Reported that the United States is preparing to send additional forces to the Middle East as the war with Iran enters its third week. Thousands of US Marines are expected to be sent, though it's not yet clear how they would be deployed. President Trump said today that the Islamic Republic will be hit very hard over the next week. Let's go straight to Washington and our State Department correspondent Tom Bateman. What more do we know about these deployments?
Sophie, this is a deployment of the USS Tripoli, which is an amphibious assault ship, alongside up to 5,000 troops, about half of which it is thought will be US Marines. Now, this is a task force.
So this is a news item that we did tell you. Donald Trump President Donald Trump is doubling down on the Strait of Hormuz. It looks like the war is narrowing down to the Strait of Hormuz. We will have Squadron Leader retired Ali Hamza on the show tonight. We'll try to get him live and talk about why is this Strait of Hormuz becoming a problem for us, a chest thumping superpower, which says that it has the greatest military equipment, people on earth. Why is this small piece of land becoming such a big problem for them? We're gonna ask Ali Hamza for his technical input, and let's see how that goes. I'm going through your comments as well. Pakistan has secured its supply, and day before yesterday, the Prime Minister of Pakistan was he flown into Saudi Arab and had a talk with the MBS, and also they had a talk before going there. They had a talk with their Iranian counterparts as well. So I think Pakistan is developing a diplomatic line between these two countries, trying to like cool things down. This is a very big role that Pakistan is playing to mediate between these two guys, to make them understand this shouldn't be done in any way, and no one has any sort of bad intention towards each other. Just like the Turkish president came out and said that there's no difference between Shias and Sunnis, and this is the time to unite. I think everyone thinks that way, and I think that Pakistan is playing a good role in mediating these talks between these Muslim powers. Malik Qasim, Bihari Babu, I'm reading your comments as well. Keep them coming. Yeah, Pakistan enjoys great relationship between Iran and Saudi Arab. I mean, they've been supporting both of them in many ways. So I think this would turn out to be good. I think there are going to be some positive outcomes from these meetings, hopefully. So these are pictures coming in.
The problem with Trump is that he's not intelligent enough to understand.
So as I told you that these guys were out for, as Pete Hegseth was saying that these guys are underground. These guys were rallying on the streets of Tehran, while they've also uh, a bomb blast was also seen here. So let's see what uh, BBC says about this.
Our story now.
From an embattled Iranian regime today, a show of defiance. Loyalists came out in large numbers, just as their new supreme leader had asked. And many carried his image, though Mujtaba Khamenei himself has still not been seen. In Washington, the Secretary of Defense said the US and Israel had now hit 15,000 targets around Iran, that its military had been decimated.
Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader.
Okay, there's something about the Trump administration, the language of Trump administration. We had Carl Jao on the show, and I asked him the question, like, why do these people have such sort of languages? He says that they're just failed TV personalities who made it to the government, and that is so right. I mean, the sort of language these guys use while in war against adversaries, it's like crazy.
Is wounded and likely disfigured.
Yeah, there were reports that the new Ayatollah is injured, but I think Iran has, I don't know, Iran has answered this or not.
But state-run TV showed Iran's president Masoud Pezeshkian out on the streets today, even looking relaxed. And another very powerful figure in the regime who had a message for Donald Trump.
The problem with Trump is that he's not intelligent enough to understand that Iranians are a mature and strong and determined nation. The more pressure he exerts, the stronger our nation's willpower will become.
That is so true. I mean, this is so hard for the West to understand that the Ayatollah, who is no more now, he's gone to elevate it to a new status, a status which is timeless. His martyrdom is going to bring new wave of energy in Iran. This is very hard to explain to the Westerners.
This is the Al-Quds rally held every year to oppose Israel. Suddenly, on the left of this image, an explosion nearby. Another airstrike took place as state-run TV was interviewing Iran's hardline head of the judiciary. People are not afraid of these attacks, he says.
Look at this. Just look at this. Look how people are absorbing such impacts.
This is the Al-Quds rally held every year
I just reversed it.
to oppose Israel. Suddenly, on the left of this image, an explosion nearby.
You see this? There are, I don't know, there are a lot of people over here. And you see, and this is a big impact. Like, it's way above the ground itself. You can, like, tell this is this had a big impact.
Another airstrike took place as state-run TV was interviewing Iran's hardline head of the judiciary. People are not
Look at them. This is normal. He didn't like stop even talking. He's just still giving the interview to the news guys.
afraid of these attacks, he says. We will not back down in any way. But many Iranians are very afraid as the human cost of this war and the humanitarian consequences grow. This was footage released by the Iranian Red Crescent today.
It's a residential neighborhood with a narrow alley. Rescuers are working to find anyone still alive as quickly as possible.
So this is like this is the international news right now. The way they're showing damages done in Tehran only goes to show a lot of things. Let's see if they show any footages from Israel.
Along with businesses, schools, and 16
I'm gonna
of its
rewind it.
own homes.
Alley. Rescuers are working to find anyone still alive as quickly as possible.
The Red Crescent says nearly 20,000 homes have now been damaged, along with businesses, schools, and 16 of its own facilities. Iranians are continuing to flee. More than 3 million of them have left their homes so far, according to the UN. At Turkey's border with Iran, one man said bombs were raining down on his homeland. Near the central city of Isfahan, one glimpse into the intensity of the bombardment. The man filming is clearly happy to see regime targets hit.
This is just so stupid. Watching your own country being targeted by another country.
Duck down, someone says, as airstrike follows airstrike. And Donald
Imagine all this happening in the US or in the UK or in France or Italy. Imagine.
Trump says Iran will continue to be hit very hard. Caroline Hawley, BBC News.
That was just chaos. Let's just see if they go towards Israeli footages or not.
Overnight, British Typhoon jets flew air defence operations over Bahrain for the first time, and multiple drones were also shot down by a British counter-drone unit in the region. The Gulf has borne the brunt of attacks from Iran. RAF Typhoon and F-35 jets are now flying defensive sorties over many of the Gulf states to protect.
All this goes to show that things are getting out of hand. I mean, it's not going according to plan. That is for sure.
British interests and people. In Oman, state media
So these are the bases around Iran. Iran has pretty much a lot of things on its plate.
said 2 people died after security forces intercepted a drone near an industrial area. And in the United Arab Emirates, a building in Dubai was damaged in the financial district.
Okay, this was big news. This was the financial district. Anyone who's been to Dubai knows that this was the crown jewel of Dubai. And that was targeted. It was main downtown Dubai.
After debris hit a building after a drone was shot down. And tonight, police in the capital, Abu Dhabi, said 45 people have been arrested for filming and spreading misinformation on the attacks.
Okay, so that's also been happening. You make a video, you post it, or you send it to someone, you could go to jail. I mean, I think I've heard Mahmoud Odi, he was saying that a person was sent to jail for like 10 years for making a clip of a drone hitting a building in the Middle East somewhere. I think it was Kuwait.
Well, the impact of the war on oil supplies has seen petrol...
It seems like they've got no information on Israel.
Prices in the UK hit their highest level for 18 months, and diesel is at its highest since November 2023, according to the motoring organisation, the RAC. Today, the Chancellor met representatives from the Petrol Retailers Association who accused...
Let's go live now. Let's see what's happening live. This is Al Jazeera.
आज ही Yango app download करें और हर दम
So we're going to compare live news coming from different channels, international channels. Let's see what they're saying.
Has been much more widespread.
It's been 2 weeks since the US and Israel have launched a campaign of airstrikes across Iran, including this neighborhood in the capital. The government says those attacks have already hit thousands of civilian sites.
In total, Iran's Red Crescent says more than 21,000 civilian structures have been affected so far. These include homes and apartments, commercial buildings such as shops and factories, healthcare facilities, schools, and even buildings affiliated with the Red Crescent. In some neighborhoods, the scope of destruction has been enormous. But beyond the rubble of shattered buildings, the human cost of war is growing.
Up to today, unfortunately, 18,551 people have been injured and 1,444 killed, not including those who may still be under the rubble or whose status remains unknown. Of this number, 223 are women. 200 of the martyrs are children under 18, including 11 under the age of 5. These figures include only confirmed cases.
So people say that there are collateral damages here and there, but when we're talking about superpowers who like thump their chest for being very accurate, having all the technologies in the world, from satellites to links, video links, internet, you name it, when they, I don't, it like diminishes the chance of them missing a target. So if these guys miss a target, that's a bigger sin. They need to be held accountable for the things that they've said and the things that have been happening now.
Cases transferred by emergency medical services.
Many families in Tehran province, home to roughly 14 million people, have decided to leave, but many others have chosen to stay. Despite the airstrikes, thousands have rallied downtown to denounce the attacks and show support for the political establishment. Most recently on Friday, to mark Al-Quds Day.
So that was Al Jazeera Live. Let's see what other live channels are saying. This is DW Live.
Take off. A NASA mission is now underway. but pilot Kurt Stallings is interested in something.
Okay, they are on a flight. This is TRT.
Echoing Israel's attacks on Gaza.
Well, we have certainly seen the Israelis use almost the exact same language.
Okay, I see a comment by David saying, "Is Netanyahu dead?" We're gonna work on that too. I think there was some video of his speech, and people were saying that he had 6 fingers. We're gonna look into that video too. I didn't like the idea. I think I saw only 5, but we're gonna look into that together. So they're saying that he had 6 fingers. That means he's dead, and that video was AI generated. So yeah, we're gonna look into that.
Largest attack on medical workers that we have seen, certainly in the last 2 weeks of fighting, and perhaps one of the biggest attacks on medical workers in the last 2.5 years of war. 12 people, including paramedics, nurses, and doctors, confirmed dead in Burj Alawi, and this is the town's primary medical center, and it comes as about 50 different clinics and medical centers in Lebanon have had to close down because of the ongoing violence. The majority of these places are both in the southern suburbs of Beirut, but also mostly in the south of the country, where we are just seeing those sweeping evacuation notices over about 850 square kilometers of land. So it's devastating, this attack, both in the idea that medical personnel who are internationally protected under.
Yep. So that was TRT. Now let's see what else. This is France 24 English. For the people who just joined in, we went through the flight radar, went through the biggest headlines of the last 12 hours. Now we're going through international media.
Beirut, the neighborhood of Hamra, in the afternoon yesterday, the first time again this tactic has been deployed by Israel during this war. Let me just show you what it is. It's written in Arabic. On this side, it says, "After the success," and I'm quoting here, "in Gaza, this is the new reality in Lebanon." And then on the other side, again, it's in Arabic. They have QR codes here and details of how to contact Israel and become an agent, basically, to work with Israel against Hezbollah. So the Lebanese army has been warning people not to scan those QR codes, saying that's a security risk. And a lot of people, I have to say, were very afraid when this leaflet drop happened. It kind of psychological warfare-wise, it's actually psyching people out, that they feel that this is another tactic being used by Israel. Many here consider Israel as their enemy, even if they don't like Hezbollah. So calling on the Lebanese people to rise up and collaborate with them. For a lot of people, that's just completely out of the ballpark.
And we have been hearing from Hezbollah's leader recently. Tell us what he's been saying.
Yeah, this was the second speech since this latest conflict began by Hezbollah Secretary General Naim Qassem. So he rejected the Lebanese authorities' calls for direct talks with Israel and a ceasefire in words which some people here in Lebanon who are opposed to Hezbollah could see as escalatory, saying that only Hezbollah could decide when they would stop the hostilities. And a couple of days ago, Hezbollah really ramped things up, sending a barrage, Israel says, of around 200 rockets into northern Israel in a coordinated attack with Iran. So they've said it's a new phase of their operations, far from looking to dial it down and enter into negotiations.
Our senior reporter, Catherine Norris-Trent.
So that was France 24. They were talking about leaflets being dropped from the sky in Lebanon to get information on people they want. And then she was talking about the barrage of new barrages, new attacks from Lebanon to Israel, which we had talked about with Mahmoud Bhai, for the people who have following our show. So things have been different. Iran has been pumping up its missiles, its offense against U.S. bases, and Israel. And this has been happening after the first statement of the new Ayatollah came out. So that was also news. So since that day, things have been happening very fast from the Iranian side. And I think they're very focused and they've got their objectives very, very clear. So that was France 24. Let's check other international channels, what they're saying. This is Euro News English.
NASA has cleared its moon rocket for a possible April launch with 4 astronauts after completing a fresh round of repairs, marking what could be humanity's first trip to the moon in more than 50 years. The
Okay,
98-meter rocket will roll out of the hangar.
we're going to come out of that. Let's watch ABC News Australia. Yep, they are in sports. Let's go to CGTN.
At Dorgan Joe Protection Station in the South Dongton Lake Nature Reserve, researchers patrol the wetland every day. One of their missions is to track the birds.
Okay, they're working on some drone. Let's go back. So this is how the international news landscape is looking like at the moment. Let's check Asia 1.
Emmanuel Macron and offered condolences over the killing. He said Iraqi authorities will take necessary measures to prevent similar incidents and launch a full investigation into the attack. Kurdistan Region President Nishirvan Barzani also spoke with Macron, expressing sympathy and urging Baghdad to set limits on outlaw armed groups. The incident has raised concern about security in northern Iraq as regional tensions continue to grow.
Okay, so now let's go back to the flight radar and check on that drone, where the drone is right now. Yep, it's still hovering on the border of Iran in the Persian Gulf. And look, it took off from Sicily. France flew across 3 continents and is here and is looking for something, collecting intelligence. Now let's check this. This is Dammam, the airport. This is Bahrain. Bahrain is completely shut down. This is Qatar. Qatar is also completely shut down. We've got this plane, Qatari airplane. I think it diverted. It was going there, now it's going here. It just took a few turns and now it's going away. So if there is an air operation going on in Iran right now, this would be happening. Fly Dubai. Dubai airfield is, yeah, I think it's working. So whenever there's an air operation going on over here, I try to go on the top of Israel and see if there are any refueling planes, and here they are. 1, 2. Okay, that's a commercial plane. So we've got 3. This is the Yeti. All military planes. They're flying, they just took off from Tel Aviv and they're flying over to the Syrian airspace. Let's check out the cargo radar. What's happening in the Gulf, Persian Gulf? What's happening in the Strait of Hormuz? So this is how it looks like in the Strait of Hormuz. These are live feed. Hi, cows for cheese. Yeah, I know it might be pretty late on your side. So we just gave a rundown. Right now we're looking at the Strait of Hormuz. And they say that Trump is planning to come down hard over here, Kargan. I think I'm gonna check on the news. So he wants this to be cleared. Tonight we're gonna be having Ali Hamza's coordinator retired to discuss why this area it's getting difficult for the U.S. to like clear this area, although they're the biggest superpower, have thousands of jets, amazing ammunition, great technology, satellites and whatnot. But why cannot they get this small piece of water cleared? This is the shortest diameter. I think it's around 30 to 34 kilometers from where the ships have to pass. And at the moment, you can see it's completely empty. So this is what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz. What do I mean by clear? Well, apparently, this entire region, this place over here, it is under uh, complete control, and it's blocked. And the US wants this blockade cleared. And I have seen reports of news channels saying that Trump is looking into options of like getting his troops uh, into this region or either this region, airdropped special forces and trying to uh, open the blockade. So I've got some news reports as well. Wait, let me.
At a moment of
heavily bombed by the US military. Kharg to our top story and take a closer look at the importance of Kharg Island, which Donald Trump says.
So it was Kharg Island. Let us find it. Okay, so here it is, the Kharg Island. So yeah, so the drone that we were looking at right now, it's actually hovering over the Kharg Island. Yep, here this is the Kharg. Yeah, the Kharg Island. Okay, so the drone is over here and it's actually hovering around this area because it wants the US wants this. It wants to drop in special forces over here in this place. So this drone is here from Sicily and it's right now looking over the Iranian border in the Persian Gulf, and this is the Kharj Island that newscaster is talking about. Now let's go back what she's saying.
To our top story and take a closer look at the importance of Kharg Island, which Donald Trump says was heavily bombed by the US military. Kharg Island is a small coral landmass around 25 kilometers off the southwestern coast of Iran in the Gulf. It's known as the crown jewel, or beating heart of Iran's oil industry, handling around 90% of exports. Pipelines for major oil fields terminate at Kharg Island. From there, it is loaded onto super tankers, and there is capacity for millions of barrels for storage. Disruption would severely impact Tehran's income and global oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. Kharg Island was developed in the 1960s in partnership with US company Amoco. It was later seized after the 1979 revolution. Let's now go speak to economist and oil and gas specialist Cornelia Meyer. She's the CEO of Meyer Resources, joining us from Bern in Switzerland. I mean, this seems to be like a really big problem here for Iran. Kharg Island, as Trump says, is considered the jewel. Why is it so significant to Iran?
Well, it's extremely significant because this is the only place where you can actually have, which is deep enough to have big tankers, go on site and then load the crude. And it has a capacity of loading about 7 million barrels a day. It was loading
Let's check out the location over here on the Google Maps. So this is how it looks like. Let me just turn off. Yeah. This is the Kharj Island, and this is how it looks like. This is also an airstrip over here. Let me turn on the satellite view. So, okay, you can see shallow waters over here, and then you can see a deep water input. This is the deep port. I mean, it's deeper than this. There's a church over here on the island. These are all refineries, I think. So the idea is, because Iran is blocking the oil of 35% of the region, of the world actually, Trump wants their oil to be blocked as well. So this is the plan that he came up with. This is the Kharaj Island ships, you can see. Nestorian Church. Let's see some pictures over here. It's basically a barren piece of land with some good beaches. Old beach park. Let's see some pictures of the old beach park here. This is the Kharaj Island. Let's see if we have street view. Yes, we do have street view actually. So this is the street view of Kharg Island. Nice little park. This is where the US wants to invade and take over. Over here. We're taking a look at the Kharg Island for the people who've joined just now. This is where Trump wants his troops to be deployed. This is another island just adjacent to it. Look at the water. Look at how beautiful this is. I think this is a ship. So these are not live pictures. Google Map does not show live pictures, but this is how the island looks like. This is the anatomy of the island. We're going to see if we have more street views over here. So yeah, this is the airstrip. So it's covered. The airstrip. Let's see if we can have a picture inside the airstrip. So here the airstrip is. You can see a plane over here. So these are pictures of the Kharg Island that Donald Trump wants his special forces to take over. Check out the beauty of this place. These are oil pipes, I think. So he's doing this because he's saying that because Iran is blocking the oil of the world, we're going to block his Iran's oil. And we saw live pictures right now. So the quadcopter that we were looking at has just went offline. Let's refresh and see in the same region on the flight radar over Kharg Island. Yep, we can't see the quadcopter. Oh, we can, in fact. Here it is. So these are live pictures. This is the island that we just saw. This is Iran. Shiraz, the city of Iran. This is Iran. And this is the quadcopter which actually took off from here. Came into Africa from Europe, Italy, came into Africa, then into Asia, and now it's in the Persian Gulf, looking over the Kharg Island that Donald Trump last night announced to take over, bring troops down upon. So intelligence collection is going on. We also saw refueling airplanes over Syria. So I think the air raid is also in way. So that the quadcopter is going offline. And then it comes back on. It's offline now. Well, here comes the quadcopter back again. The many claims during wartime, they need to be looked upon with a good amount of skepticism. All the news that you see right now, all the images, videos, especially in this era of AI, everything needs to be taken with a pinch of salt. Is that what they say? And that is not only a journalist's job. I think people who are now, most of them using internet, I mean, they need to take information with a pinch of salt, with a little skepticism, especially in the wartime scenario. Need to double check, need to hold on, need to see what's up. So let's move on to X. And wait. So here it is. Let's see what the main news is right now. Let me just refresh. So these are news that are popping up right now. Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia that we mentioned has been targeted, and they say that as many as 5 U.S. refueling planes have been gutted. This is Hassan Mafi. Just show the image. Here it is. We're gonna see other Dubai.
देख लो सुबह सुबह का सीन है इतना पूरा पब्लिक देखो कोई नहीं पूरा पब्लिक खड़ी है बस खाली देख रही है वीडियो बना रही है देख रही है बहुत पब्लिक खड़ी है यार देख रहे हो आधा घंटा से ऐसा हो रहा है आधा घंटा हो गया देख रहे हो दोस्तों देख लो सुबह सुबह का सीन है इतना पूरा पब्लिक देखो कोई नहीं पूरा पब्लिक खड़ी है बस खाली देख रही है वीडियो बना रही है देख रही है बहुत पब्लिक खड़ी है यार देख रहे हो आधा घंटा से ऐसा हो रहा है आधा घंटा हो गया देख रहे हो दोस्तों देख लो सुबह सुबह का सीन है इतना पूरा पब्लिक देखो कोई नहीं पूरा पब्लिक खड़ी है बस.
So I'll explain to you what he's saying. He's saying that it's the morning time and everyone, the entire public is here standing and watching. Everyone is making videos. This is a video from Dubai, which is still going in shocks. So let's go to latest. Let's just scroll down. So these are the things we can see Kim says, yeah, BB is dead, guys. I still don't. This is where they say that he has 6 fingers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. And it's pretty clear. You see? Let me just wait. Let me just fix the screen first. Okay, yeah, better.
השגנו הישגים עצומים, הישגים שמשנים את מאזן הכוחות וגם מעבר לזה.
So this is the video they're claiming that he has 6 fingers. Most of the glitches when a picture is generated, a video is generated by AI, you can like look at small details and tell if this is AI generated or not. So this is what they're like thinking, and they are looking at the hands of Netanyahu and saying that he has 6 fingers, and says that he is dead and this video is AI generated, but I don't think so. I think like it's open to count. You can count.
הוא המפתח.
So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
להבטחת קיומנו. איומים עולים ואיומים יורדים. אבל כשאנחנו הופכים למעצמה אזורית ובתחומים מסוימים למעצמה עולמית, יש בכוחנו להרחיק מעלינו סכנות ולהבטיח את עתידנו. ב-1993 פרסמתי מאמר באחד העיתונים וכתבתי בו: הסכנה הגדולה ביותר לקיומה של ישראל אינה נמצאת במדינות ערב, היא נמצאת באיראן. מאז, במשך...
It's all bullcrap. Let's search what the world is saying about this, so you know what sort of news is. So now memes are coming out as well. Israel has released another photo to prove Bibi is not dead. Look at his fingers. So this...
Is Netanyahu dead? Rumors are flying online that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is either dead or in a coma. This is a claim that's been blasting through social platforms today. And tonight we can tell you it's a very real possibility that Netanyahu was killed in a missile strike. Let's talk about what we know. First of all, Netanyahu had an in-person meeting this week with a U.S. envoy, and that meeting was canceled at the last minute.
Okay. You want to go through this? Okay, let's go through this.
That means nothing on its own, right? But in reality, Netanyahu has not made any public appearances all week long until last night when a video address to Israel was posted online. Here's the problem with that. That video address became a huge piece of evidence that something is very wrong. Look at the video. It's clearly AI. At one point, Netanyahu has 6 fingers.
6? 6? I don't see 6. I do not see 6. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a shadow. This is the shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the shadow, the lower part of his hand. Let me show you. Yeah, so this is the lower part of his hand. This place. When shadows, light hit here, it would look like this is another finger. No, I don't know. I mean, this is so hard to get wrong. This is so hard to get wrong. These This is a pretty normal hand. So let me play it back. Full screen.
Is Netanyahu dead? Rumors are flying online that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is either dead or in a coma. This is a claim that's been blasting through social platforms today. And tonight, we can tell you it's a very real possibility that Netanyahu was killed in a missile strike. Let's talk about what we know. First of all, Netanyahu had an in-person meeting this week with a U.S. envoy, and that meeting was canceled at the last minute. That means nothing on its own, right? But in reality, Netanyahu has not made any public appearances all week long until last night when a video address to Israel was posted online. Here's the problem with that. That video address became a huge piece of evidence that something is very wrong. Look at the video. It's clearly AI. At one point, Netanyahu has 6 fingers, and then back to 5. Also, at another point in the video, some of his teeth disappear. Then they reappear. The video is clearly AI. It's not Netanyahu, but there's more.
No, the teeth didn't disappear.
Because late today, reports that the official office of the Prime Minister account on X posted this tweet before removing it. And that tweet reads like this, quote, "Rumors circulating on social media about PM Benjamin Netanyahu's status are unconfirmed." What does that mean? Unconfirmed? "We urge citizens to rely on verified updates. Efforts are underway to establish contact. PM Netanyahu remains committed to Israel's security." Again, that tweet was later deleted, but again, it's not evidence on its own that he's dead, but it's certainly very strange. Again, saying that these reports are unconfirmed. And then there's another situation that might be related. We don't know yet, but in a shocking moment just hours ago, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was pulled out of an interview because the president needed to speak with him urgently in the Situation Room. Watch the way Bessent can't find his words when he comes back.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem at all. See you shortly, Mr. Secretary. Mr. Secretary, I have to say, it's a first, I'm sure a last as well, that an interviewee's been pulled away to go to the Situation Room. How was the president? Was he stressed?
No, the president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule, and I have to tell you, Wolf, that I have a teenager who's considering military service.
Again, evidence on its own that Netanyahu's dead? Absolutely not. But all of this taken together, and it is a story definitely worth watching very carefully.
So that was that. We're going to move on, see what else people are saying. A lot of AI generated pictures. So this is Kim.com. Let's open this post. He's showing pictures of Netanyahu being brought out of what it looks like a building taken down with a missile fire. And he apparently is wearing a suit. Now let's see, has anyone commented and asked Grok? Here it is. Grok, is this photo real? Let's see what Grok says. Grok says, no, this photo is not real. It's a fabricated or a heavily edited image that's circulating as misinformation amid current regional tensions. No credible sources, Reuters, mainstream Israeli or international outlets report Netanyahu being injured, captured, or in rubble like this. He issued public statement as recent as March 12th, confirming he's active. Viral war imagery like this, often AI generated, as we were saying. There's a guy underneath saying Grok is Jewish. And then another guy is asking Grok, is that correct? So, okay, so let's see what else we've got. Is a man is I think rock. Is this true? Like people ask Grok. Someone's made him into, you know. So people are like tweeting 19 minutes ago, is BB dead? Is BB dead? So this is predictive programming alert.
It's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you.
This was uploaded on 14th of March today. So let's see what.
It's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That'd be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it. And Biden should have said that, but he never did. I don't know why. Lack of intelligence, perhaps. But he never said it. If that happens to a leader or close to a leader, frankly, if you had other people involved also, you would call for total obliteration.
What sort of a double standard world is this guy living in? What about the Ayatollah? What about him?
A state that did it, that would include Iran. So I'm signing.
It's Iran and their.
You took out the spiritual leader of a country and you turn back and say things like this. So we just put in Netanyahu here, and all their people are talking about is he confirming, asking questions. So Grok said 10 seconds ago he's alive and serving as the Prime Minister of Israel. So there's this wave of news, misinformation, and I don't know how this like ages out. That Netanyahu is dead, and this video, this picture, this was the media talk that he gave, which like fueled everything. People are saying that he has 6 fingers, his teeth are disappearing, things like that. So this guy reverse engineering the misinformation, being crying uncontrollably for hours looking at these leaks. I can't believe BB Netanyahu is really dead. He says that at 34 seconds you can clearly see Netanyahu having 6 fingers. Let's see this. Okay, 34 seconds. Let this.
אנחנו אי פעם את מאזן הכוחות במזרח התיכון.
This is 34 seconds. Can you see this full picture? Let me check. No, you can't. Wait. Escape this. So here it is. I mean, you can actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the 34th second, as he's saying. This is the moments he's talking about. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. This part of his hand is also looking like this part of the hand. So let's see what's happening in Israel. It says that several projectiles from an Iranian cluster missile fell in several locations in Israel.
Oh my god, oh my god. Ang lamami na. Oh my god, oh my god.
So these are pictures from Israel. This is 7 hours ago. Let's check if this isn't AI generated. A large explosion and fire have been reported near the Memorial Parkway, South Connecticut, Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay, so let's check out the latest. Okay, so let's take you back to the flight radar. And check out some live pictures. So these are live pictures. Let me check other channels for you guys. So I'm going to leave you with the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going to refresh this. I'm going to take a small break and be right back with you guys in a while. So this is live feed coming straight from the Strait of Hormuz. We could see a clear blockade in between. If I zoom out, you'll see what sort of traffic is here, what sort of traffic is here, and this place right over here, it's completely empty. So this area over here is supposed to look like this area, but as you can see, it's completely empty. So this is the quadcopter that we were looking at. I think it's on its way back now. You can see the track. And this over here is the island that Trump is asking his troops to go down on.